Giving all praise, honor, glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Rachak, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and it's a sincere shalom to the Akim that's out there pushing the sincerity and the truth and the sound doctrine. This is going to be a really quick video. On this video put up by Future King GMS, and it says the MOTB. If you don't know what the MOTB is, before some edification, risk of getting this video flagged. If you don't know what the MOTB is, or MTOB as some of us call it, it is the mark of the beast. All right. It says so the MOTB, it is on its way, like it or not. You have a lot of people out there, specifically other Israelite camps, that have a problem with us saying what the MOTB is. We say the mark of the beast is an RFID chip, okay, radio frequency identification. All right, and that is going to be your new currency. That's going to be the new way of things. All right, and that is pretty much the top the top prophecy, pretty much, if you want to say. All right, that is very important. But you have a lot of people out there, like I said, specifically other Israelite camps. You know, they say is this, they say is that, they say the mark is sleeping with white women, and when you read Revelation 13, and this is why I kind of say, in order to, number one, as we always say, the spirit has to be with you. All right, that's number one. But in order to really get a full understanding, there's a reason why it's all the way down on Revelation 13 and 16. It's all the way down on verse 16, because there's a whole breakdown that you need. All right, and then it makes sense. So once you hear the things that people say it is versus what the scriptures actually say it is, it doesn't make any sense. So we are going to go into the mark, but just two quick ones before we do. Two quick scriptures before we do. Let's go back. Actually, I wanted Ezekiel 3, but let's go back to Ezekiel 2. All right, and 5. It says, right? It says, and they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are a rebellious house, yet shall know that there have been a prophet among them. So you're going to know, man. You're going to know. You see, all you people are wasting your time. All right. But you got a lot of people out there that mock us for just going strictly into prophecy. Yeah, because prophecy is very important, man. Because if you don't understand prophecy, you're not gonna be prepared for the things that are coming to pass. See, all these things, like the big beautiful bill that was passed and stuff like that. You got a lot of people, specifically so-called black people, complaining about that, and it's just like, this is what we've been saying for decades, that these things were going to happen. Prices are going to increase, right? I mean, we're ready for it, man. I mean, it is what it is. We know we're going to feel it, right? We do know that everybody's going to feel it. But it is what it is, man. We don't fret because of evildoers. We don't fret because of something like that. It is what it is. See, the Lord is building up our faith. But you people out there, man, what the scripture says, the scripture said, my servants are going to eat, but you shall be hungry. All right. My servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Right? My servants are going to rejoice. So when these things happen, we're really rejoicing, man, because that's a step closer to this place falling. All right. So yeah, that's it on this. So let's go on to Ezekiel 3 and 13, and then we're going to go on to, once again, the breakdown of Revelation 13. All right. So let's go to Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17. It says, Son of man, I made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me. All right. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Right. So we're not doing anything, and we see these things happening, right? That wicked person is going to die in their iniquity, yeah. But the blood is going to be on our hands because we knew better. So how come we didn't tell that person? All right. It says, yet if thou warn the wicked, right, and he turned not from his wickedness, right. So we're telling you, and you just like we ran into a guy yesterday, or a guy came up on Saturday, and he was just not. If Stiffneck was a person, that guy, I would picture that guy's face, man. All right, because you could not tell him anything, and that just goes to a lot of people, right? You just couldn't tell him anything. Very, very, very stiff neck, man. All right, he believed that he was saved already. He believed, but at this, he believed that it doesn't matter how you worship God as long as you just worship God. Like, what is this talk? What are you talking about? See, the scriptures never said anything like that. The scriptures tell you how to worship the Lord. It tells you what to do. It didn't say just worship him however you want to do. That doesn't make any sense. All right. It says, "Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul." Right. So if you constantly going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and the person's not trying to get it, you walk away. You shake the dust off your feet and you keep it moving. All right. That's all. So it's the same thing with this MOTB, the mark. It's the same thing with this. We still going to push the message out, man. And you know what? Let's go ahead and get it. Because it's going to make a lot of you people mad when we go into this stuff, man. All right. This is a good one. Revelation 13:9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. This is crazy, when you think about it, because the Lord already knew that this was going to be a crazy topic, when it comes to a lot of people. All right. It's really crazy how this 13:9 is included in this, when it comes to the breakdown. It says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. What is the thing that we always seem to have to go over? The so-called rape doctrine, all right, and this and obviously is the truth only be it for the Israelites, salvation only be it for Israelites. That's another one. But amongst other Israelites, this is a main one that people have such a problem with. So it's kind of crazy that Revelation 13:9 is slid into it. All right. If any man have an ear, let him hear. So what's the opposite of a man that don't have an ear? An uncircumcised ear. Right? As it Jeremiah 6:10, maybe 11 said. Right? But anyway, let's go to Revelation 13:11. All right. Or Revelation 13:16. All right. So this is book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16. And we're going to go into the mark, all right, because you got three different definitions of the word mark in the Bible, all right. You have mark, which goes into like, let's say the mark of exemption, all right. When you go into that definition, that's one definition. You got mark, the name Mark, all right. That's another definition. See, this is the problem with English, all right. And then you have this mark. And what is this mark talking about? Well, we're going to get it, all right. And we're also going to read we're going to read this in the older Bible. I know some of you people have a problem with us going into different translations, so let it be. All right, Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. It says that he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now, it says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So my question is to y'all, right, to you other Israelite camps, all right, since you say it's not what it is, after we go over the definition for the 1000th time, how exactly, right, do you buy and sell? Because the device that we're talking about right now, it's going to have to be scanned. That's just what it is. In fact, just in case dogs run away, they have tracking devices in them. They have a barcode it's like a barcode tattoo, right? So you know where it is. We had a dog when it was in his thigh, right? And like when he would lay on his belly, you would see a barcode on him, right? Right on his leg. Got him like that, right? That's how we got him. As far as, that's how he came, right? As far as, you know what I mean, right? So when he would lay on his belly, like I said, you would see a barcode. So this is no different. The only way you buy and sell, the only way you're going to be able to buy and sell is a barcode. That chip is included in the barcode. All right, that's just what it is. This is how we know this is something physical. All right, that no man might buy or sell. Buying and selling is physical, right? You people out there talk about sleeping with white women and it's the image of Jesus and this, that, and the other. No, no, it's not. Okay, like IUIC talk about it's just the system and the image is the system and this, that, and the other. They're getting the image and the actual mark mixed up together. And you're throwing it off. This is why a lot of people need to stay out of prophecy because they can't break it down. They always butcher it. All right. So um let's go into this word mark, and we're gonna go into the root word. All right. Look at how this is spelled, by the way, and look at how what we're going to read. This is going to look very similar. Charagma, all right? Charagma up here is going to look very similar, okay? So we have a stamp, an imprinted mark. So when you look at all of these, read these definitions, all right? And by the way, they did this before. It obviously wasn't with a device because they didn't have it back then, all right? But they did it before. It's called registration, and it would imprint you, or they would brand you. All right. I know that somewhere in the Ptolemies they did it. All right. It was actually done quite a few times. One of them was used with a leaf, and if you didn't have a registration, you would be out. You would be ousted from society, pretty much. You'll be an outcast, or you'd be treated lower. I guess same thing, being outcast. All right. So it's been done before. This is why it's not far fetched. It's just that now, since we have more technology, it's going to be used as a device. This is why we're talking about reincarnation. Reincarnation, it happens all over again. It's happening all over again. It's just with a bit of technology. All right. So let's go into the root word. All right, or parenthesis etymology. We're going to get the etymology too. All right, but this is the root word. It's called karax. All right, it's called karax. It says a pale or stake, a palisade. So again, something physical, something that's branded or implanted, right? So what we're going to do now is we are going to get the John Wycliffe Bible. This is the John Wycliffe Bible of 1382. All right. John Wycliffe Bible 1382. Like I said, we got some people out there that have a problem with the other Bibles, right? But I ain't gonna lie to you, man. You try to read this, all right? I don't know why it's not loading right now. You know what I mean? You try to read this. Read just a little bit of this, and you see why we can't do this, right? All right. So for whatever reason, I don't know why I was messing up on the usual website that I read it on, but so I had to go to another website to get it. So here it is. This is again in the John Wycliffe Bible of 1382. All right, and this is what we just read, Revelation 13 and 16. We just read this in the KJV. All right, so to get a better understanding, we going back to the older Bible because again, English is so messed up, man. And he shall make all small and great, rich and poor, freemen, bondmen. And by the way, when you actually read this in the actual John Wycliffe Bible, this is really really hard to read. But what they did was they kind of fixed it up a little bit so where it's more like English. But it says the same exact thing as if you were read it out of the John Wycliffe Bible, just a little easier to read. That's all. All right. It says to have a character. All right. To have a character. Now, in the other, by the way, in the John Wycliffe Bible, it's spelled like this. like I said, for whatever reason, it's not working. It's spelled like this, but without the H. All right, without the H after the C. All right, so to have a character, either mark or in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right, so when we go into character, like I said, I really don't like this version because it's not like the plain version, but it does say character. Both of them say it does say character. All right, I'm going to see if yeah. See, every time I try to load it up from here, it's just not working. It was before I started the video, but it is what it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into character. All right, in the etymology app. All right, and let's see what it says here. All right. This is how it's spelled in the John Wycliffe Bible. I just got to highlight it here. Remember, 1382, mid 1400s. Okay, so it's pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same. All right. Character. So that's how it's spelled. All right. Mark. It says symbol, marked, or branded on the body. We don't even have to go any further. Symbol or drawing used in sorcery. All right. So same thing, right? So symbol or imprint on the soul. Engrave, right? Engrave. Mark, or also symbol, right? So we just read that. So Karax, Karagma. So this will more than likely be pronounced character, probably, right? It'll probably be something on the lines of that at least, right? So we have Karax. We also have Karasian or Karasian, right? Karax, Karasian, Karagma. And this will, again, like I said, this will more than likely be character, right? Because when you look at, let's go back. When you look at Revelation 13, back here where it says Karagma is almost spelled like that, right? And that's why I said earlier to keep in mind and look at how that is spelled. You see here, Karagma, so it's very similar to character, all right, or character, all right. So anyway, man, that's all I got on this. The warnings is plain as day, man. And us at Great Millstone, man, we're going to continue to put the message out through the spirit of Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Whether, like this brother said, whether you like it or not, it is what it is. Whether you hear or whether you forbid, you're going to know that the prophet was among you. The thing that you people gotta understand is we are not out trying to save people because we can't. Okay, these IUIC rats, they're trying to, and you cannot save anybody. That is up to the Lord Yahawah BaHaShem Yahawashi. The only thing we can do, because we need saving. So what are you talking about? You're trying to save. You need saving. We need saving. I can't save you if I need saving myself, right? So the only way you're going to be saved is the Lord Yahawah BaHaShem Yahawashi. The only thing what we can do is tell the people. Is tell the people and warn the people and preach the word of the Lord Yahawah BaHaShem Yahawashi. Not through just some comments or anything like that. I'm talking about actual preaching. When you go into the word preach, it's speaking. Right? So anyway, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah BaHaShem Yahawashi BaHaShem. Rachak Wadah Shalom.